is Joy News Prime.
Tonight on Joy News Prime, government hospital pharmacists declare nationwide strike over government's failure to resolve discrepancies with their remuneration they attribute to their market premium. Ministry of Interior denies claims by immediate past moderator of the Presbyterian Church that he was approached to take up the job of chairman of the National Peace Council, describing his comments as deceit of the public. The opposition New Patriotic Party is confident of victory at the polls this November and projects it will win with 60% of the votes. Meanwhile, the Institute of Democratic Governance is making a strong pitch for a devolution of the country's local governance system to allow the active participation of political parties.
And in business, petroleum products witnessed one of the biggest jumps in prices in recent times during the second pricing window of September. But oil marketing companies say current developments in the global market make it difficult for them to absorb hikes.
Emmanuel Abajuyafi will have those details for you in business in about 30 minutes. My name is Israel. And Joy News Prime is also available across Europe on ABN Television and DSTV and GoTV. Stay tuned. Now, our very first story, some patients were left stranded on Monday as pharmacists across the country's public hospitals began an indefinite strike. They are protesting government's failure to address discrepancies in their market premium. Joy News' Joseph Akable visited the Kwalebu Teaching Hospital on Monday to assess the impacts on patients and hospital operations.
The signpost that directs one to the main pharmacy here at the Kwalebu Hospital. Now, if you arrive here on Monday, one thing that you can't help but notice is that you have some inscriptions posted on the main entrance to the pharmacy. Now, I'm just going to try to see whether the door is open or not. You can hear the sound of the door refusing to move. It's been closed with a notice here that says, "Dear customer, due to the ongoing strike action by the government and Hospital Pharmacists Association, we are unable to provide services until further notice. We regret any inconvenience caused." So this is the notice at the front of the main entrance to the Kwalebu pharmacy here. The message is very simple. It's telling many customers who will be coming here Monday to purchase drug that they are closed and they are not working, and it has to do with the strike action. They have some grievances about market premium as well as the pay grade structure that they want government to address, and until that is addressed, they have laid down their tools and they won't be working until government hit to their cause. Now, as it stands, the pharmacy is closed, so it means that the hundreds who may be coming in to purchase the medicine, they may have to try other private facilities that provide same services, because for the government pharmacy, they are simply not working.
I came here for some x-rays and
come back
and some medicine, but unfortunately we came and they've locked down. We don't know the reason why. I don't know. I'll go outside and buy my medicines. Apart from that, I don't have any option again.
I came here to buy medicine for a friend of mine from China. They've closed and I don't know the reason why they are not working. And this is very appalling. The government must meet their demands and also make sure they are okay with what they are doing here.
Honestly, I'm not so happy about this because it came as a shock to me. I just came in to get some drugs and then the pharmacy is on strike. I think the drugs here are less expensive than what we have outside. I think the necessary quarters should find a way of solving the issue so that they'll come back to us. We need our pharmacists back.
So we have seen the pharmacy close. We have also heard from some customers who came in to purchase drugs from the pharmacy, and unfortunately they had to move elsewhere. I'm now going in to speak to Mr. Raymond Tete. He's a former gospel chairman, to give an indication of the kind of services that the pharmacies across the country in the various hospitals provide for the many patients as well as others who go in also to purchase medicine.
Basically, they are the experts, ensuring that drugs in use, provide the necessary efficacy, the expected outcomes are achieved. And then also they make sure that medication errors are reduced as far as possible. They make sure that there is maximum benefit of medicine use to patients, while also minimizing the possible side effects and then, untoward effects of the use of medicines.
So the gospel strike is on. If you are on your way to a pharmacy in any of the government hospitals across the country, what you should know is that for the many workers, they are no longer working. They are making certain demands of government. They want government to address the market premium, and until that is addressed, they've laid down their tools, and it can be felt here at the Kolebu Hospital, where many customers have come in to purchase drugs, but unfortunately, they can't get the drugs. Joseph Akable, Joy News, Accra.
All right, so you've been advised about the strike by gospel. Meanwhile, executive member Stephen Kokwe says the association hopes that Labour Ministry on one hand and the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission on the other will address their concerns immediately to enable them call off the strike.
Before this action, we were supposed to have some meeting tomorrow. We've just been called that the meeting has been postponed to Thursday because one of the crucial players in the who was supposed to be part of the meeting is not available. We are just hopeful that these issues will be addressed as quick as possible so that we can actually come back to work and then attend to our cherished customers and clients because of the long period that was supposed to be used to resolve this hitherto an issue by law. It's supposed to. Yes, it has always been back and forth, you know, and even at a situation where the National Labour Commission has actually taken action and the implementation is supposed to be done. We were told then at the last hour that it cannot be implemented. For obvious reasons, we don't know. Even the cabinet subcommittee that was set up by the government to also look into our matter also gave their recommendations, and after that there was a roadmap for the implementation. We were told that the roadmap was stored somewhere around the Ministry of Finance, and that also never came to fruition. So it has been this back and forth frustrating pharmacies. As I speak to you now in Kolebu, this year alone, we have lost about 10 pharmacies. A lot more will be leaving to the private sector. And that could jeopardize the pharmaceutical care in the public sector. So me and you, our safety in terms of medicine can be affected.
Right, and the very latest we're getting on the strike by the government hospital pharmacists is that the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission says government has directed it to hold on or to stop the payment of market premiums until government has advised otherwise. They cannot go ahead with their requests or another request of GOSPA. Elsewhere, staff of the Electricity Company of Ghana continue with the second day of their strike in protest of plans to introduce private sector participation in the company's operations. 6 companies are currently listed as qualified to take over the electricity distributor and run it for 25 years. The staff, however, see the announcement of the 6 companies as an affront to ongoing discussions to resolve a standoff between the Public Utility Workers Union on behalf of ECG and the Millennium Development Authority on the other hand. Komla Adom visited one of the ECG offices earlier in the day and spoke with some stranded customers.
They said they are not opening a shop office today. They are not going to open it because they are on strike. So I wanted to go back. Okay, now my boss sent me to buy credit, and we are working Infinity Ties. So that's the thing that I wanted to come and buy.
How disappointed are you?
Okay, I myself, I'm feeling bad because his daughter and his wife, they are all in the house and no light too.
Me babe change na me koto me electricity ba me ko no ma block old remote no I know am say me mra office am say me ko avino me ko avino no no am nya djuma ani ma ba main office na also am nya djuma o bisa am say am ko strike and am stranded you hu dey me share there am say bi no say e bi at 12 o'clock and e bi a on be sign a resume enti me try go see 12 o'clock say bi a me so enya me pa with that light no me near man be say anything.
Right, Patrick Tete Binyami is the National Secretary of the Senior Staff Association of the Electricity Company of Ghana. He has joined us on the telephone line to tell us what's next as far as the strike is concerned. Good evening to you, Mr. Binyami. Is that the end of your protests?
I beg your pardon.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I'm asking if that's the end of your protest.
No, please. For now, we have suspended all our actions because we'll be meeting the ministry, God willing, on Wednesday. The outcome of that meeting will determine our next line of action.
All right. So at least for tomorrow, I mean, customers of ECG can go to the various offices and get served.
Why not? All over our district and regional offices are going to operate or work tomorrow. Our customers can walk in and then do service with ECG.
All right.
All over operational areas.
Now, what did you seek to achieve with this 2-day strike or withdrawal of services, and have you achieved it?
Well, because of the actions of NIDA, and that grows disrespect to the staff. You know, you remember we raised some key labor issues which was not attended to, and then they went ahead and released the request for proposal. Now Ghanaians are understanding and are buying into what they are doing, and we are more comfortable with that.
No, come again. You said Ghanaians are buying into...
What I said was that you asked what do we seek to achieve.
Yes.
Yes, the 2-day action is to drum home our protest against Mide's gross disrespect, lack of transparency. Remember, Israel, we are Ghanaians first before working for ECG. And if this company of ours is going to the hands of a private person for 25 years, and there are certain critical issues that we need to look at before the concessionaire takes over. And NIDA is not giving us the room to air or giving us the room to come out with our suggestions. Then there is the need for us to let Ghanaians know and understand so that they will appreciate whatever we are doing. Because if we don't talk about it today, posterity will judge us. Because, one, when you look at our assets, like the transformers, the cables, and other things, they have a lifespan of 25 years. And if a concessionaire is taking over now for 25 years, it means that before he hands over the assets to the company, if it is so, then those things will be declared obsolete.
All right.
So we need to talk about it so that it goes on record, so that our children's children will not blame us for such an act.
All right, Mr. Binyami, you talk about the fact that you, the workers of ECG, are Ghanaians first. I reckon that probably maybe, 60,000 people. Now, the 60,000 Ghanaians who are working with ECG, your interests, as it is now, are being put ahead of the interests of the rest of the population who, through their parliamentarians, approved the concession.
My brother, like I said before, the law is made for man and not man for the law. If parliamentarians have done the ratification and we have identified problems with the document or we've raised issues of, is it not possible for us to revisit the whole thing? Does it mean that if it has been passed in parliament and there are problems with it, we should let it go? Is that what we are saying? Please, my brother, it's about time for us to stand and speak the truth. The labor issues we have raised. Look, let's take Accra East, for instance, or Accra East, Accra West. Our asset value is more than the money that is coming. Look at ECG Global. Does it mean that we cannot generate funds internally? We are asking the government, please, why don't you list ECG on the stock exchange? The same government approved the SBU, the Strategic Business Unit in Ashanti, which is being piloted. It was only launched in last December for 2 years. And we are saying, let's hold on, let's finish with that 2 years so that we can replicate that in all the regions. Government owes ECG so much, and we are asking government, if you want to pay this money for the concessionaire, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. Pay that money. Government is saying that, okay, there was a cabinet decision that is giving a 5-year moratorium. Now we are saying that what happens after the 5 years? And remember, that 5 years the government is talking about, it has not got any legal effect because it's not been put into the RFP. So somebody will come one day and that will be a problem. And these are issues. It is not only the interest of ECG staff that we are. Look at the local content. We have 4 or 5 companies locally who are supplying us with meters, who are supplying us with cables, and the rest. And do you think if the concessionaire should come over, is he not going to import these materials? What then will happen to these local
Has the concessionaire, do you think that the concessionaire is going to look elsewhere other than the local content? Because the deputy minister has indicated that local content is key to all of this.
My brother, the power minister deputy will say that. He will say that. He will say
but
that.
you don't believe him.
The fact. That is not the fact on the ground.
Okay.
Let's be realistic. Are profits not going to be repatriated? Aqua victims, have they not started? Where did it end?
All right.
Are we going to sit down again for them to take opportunity and advantage of the system and let GCG go for 25 years? Is tariffs not going to go high?
Okay.
Is the concessionaire going to take care of those in the rural areas? These are issues that we are raising, my brother.
All right. Thank you very much, Patrick Tete Binyami. Patrick Tete Binyami is the Senior National Secretary of the Senior Staff Association of the Electricity Company of Ghana. Now, some customers of microfinance firm DKM and the associates have appealed to President Mahama to, as a matter of urgency, direct the governor of the Bank of Ghana to refund their deposits locked up with the defunct company. Spokesperson of the group addressing the media in the Brunhafo region threatened the affected persons will embark on a nationwide demonstration as a sign of their anger towards the government should the appeal fall on deaf ears.
Addressing the media in Sunyain on Monday, Maxwell Mahama says many of the affected customers were promised payment by the end of the month. But the leader of the affected customers, Maxwell Mahama, claims that is one of the many failed promises and cannot be believed because a court in Wa in the Upper West region has ruled that the appointment of the liquidator was not proper in law and as such cannot commence any liquidation process. He further alleged that this is a ploy to calm affected customers down ahead of the proposed NDC manifesto launch in the Bunuahafo region.
The Bank of Ghana is not challenging this matter, that they did not give license to DKM and Jatamutis. We request of Mr. President to respond speedily by directing the government of Bank of Ghana in the next 2 days to pay us our monies. If no action is taken within 2 weeks, we shall advise ourselves as customers. This is a national security matter. Life has become unbearable for us because our monies are locked up. It has collapsed our businesses and we are also unable to pay our school fees and that of our children. Look at him, a student from Winnipeg. He has not gotten money to pay his school fees and he's here. Life has become very unbearable as a result of our monies locked up.
He's therefore calling on President Mahama to speedily intervene so as to end their suffering and the needless loss of lives, even as they prepare to petition Parliament and the Council of State to come to their aid.
Are highly frustrated and depressed to the extent that some are alleged to have committed suicide and others allegedly attempting committing suicide. However, we will demonstrate nationwide to sum up our frustration against the government soon. In the meantime, letters by way of petition are ready and we have begun distribution to Parliament, Council of State members, political parties, civil union or societies to come to our aid in whatever form to enable us to recover our monies deposited with the accrued interest on it or on them. Ladies and gentlemen,
Watching Joy News Prime, we're taking a break. When we come back, we have more stories. Please stay tuned.
A political appointment.
Now, outgoing moderator of the Presby Church, Right Reverend Professor Emmanuel Mate, has been in the news in recent times on some controversial issues. Speaking at a news conference of the 16th General Assembly of the Presby Church, Reverend Mate alleged that politicians tried to bribe him to tone down his criticism of government. The latest outburst by the moderator is that he rejected an offer by Deputy Minister of Interior James Agalga for the position of chairman of a peace council. Now let's hear what Professor Mate said.
I don't want any political appointment. That's the reason why I rejected. I heard some people also saying that sack him from the Peace Council. These are ignorant people. I've never been a member of the Peace Council, and I will never ever be a member of the Peace Council. Of course, Christian Council nominated me to be on that council. I know if I go there, something will happen. But that thing I don't know. So I send it to God. Listen, I don't do anything without first consulting my friend, the Holy Spirit. Few days to the inauguration of the Peace Council, I had a missed call. I didn't know the person, so I didn't call. Then the person texts. It was Deputy Minister of Interior, calling himself Agalga or something, Agalga. So immediately something said call back, and I called back. He was then at the house. So he said, he came out. He said, first I said, yes, this is the Reverend Professor Mate, moderator of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana. But you know what? The Holy Spirit blind his mind. So even he didn't hear that it was the Presby moderator who was. The Holy Spirit wants him to bring what he has for me to know, which will help me to decide whether or not to be a member of the Peace Council. I said, oh, Most Reverend, yes. I had a meeting with the Minister of Interior, and they, both of us, we say that we want you to be the chairman of the Peace Council, and so we want you to talk, in other words, to lobby. Before the inauguration of the thing is before members will meet, for the first time, I said, lobby, so if you know some people, you give us their names and we will talk on them.
All right, but the Interior Ministry has since issued a press release denying the claim made by the former moderator of the Presbyterian Church, and I'm going to read you excerpts of the press release. It says Minister of the Interior, Prosper Bani, has been explaining. But rather, let's listen to what the Minister of the Interior, Prosper Bani, has been saying about the statement they issued earlier, and he has been speaking with Evans Mensah on Joy FM.
One, the fact of the case is that Reverend Professor Mate was nominated by the Christian Council of Ghana as a member of the board in April 2016. Later on, at a different date, the minister was informed by the Christian Council of Ghana that they have placed the nomination of Reverend Professor Mate by substituting him with Reverend Dr. Edu Jemfi. So yes, Professor Mate was nominated to be a member of the Peace Council, and the Peace Council followed up as required by the law to select their own chairperson. And indeed, that selection process took place, and Reverend Asante was unanimously elected as the chairman of the National Peace Council.
Did the Interior Ministry have a preference before that process?
Not at all.
Because he suggests there, in fact not suggests, he states categorically that your deputy called him and told him that he had consulted with yourself and the two of you were in agreement that he, Reverend Mate, should be the person and that he should go and lobby and get that position.
Well, there are two things here. One, that my deputy James Agaga tried lobbying him. I've spoken to the Honorable James Agaga, who is a very hardworking and smart lawyer at the same time, my deputy, and he has categorically denied the statement made by Reverend Mate.
Did you have any conversation with your deputy at all about the chairmanship of the Peace Council?
Well, I would like to also make this categorical statement by myself that we respected the whole process of nomination and selection of persons to participate in this very prestigious council, which is the National Peace Council of Ghana. The rules setting up the Peace Council are very well stipulated. The manner and processes for the election and nomination of people is stated by law. And I can categorically say that as Minister for the Interior, I did not interfere at all in the process of selecting of their chairperson.
Right, so you had the Minister of the Interior, Prosper Bani. Now, we'll just take a quick look at the statement that they issued earlier, and the statement actually reads, the heading says, Reverend Professor Emmanuel Mate deceives the public on offer to chair National Peace Council. And if you look at the body of the statement itself, the Ministry of the Interior has been following with keen interest wild allegations by Reverend Professor Emmanuel Mate on various media platforms that the Deputy Minister for the Interior, Honorable James Agaga, in consultation with the Minister for the Interior, offered him the position as chairman of the National Peace Council. I just thought I'll indicate to you some of the words that were used in there. First of all, deceiving, suggesting that they're deceiving, Professor Mate is deceiving the public, and then it also suggests that these are wild allegations by Professor Mate. Now, we've also been, we've made contact with the National Peace Council, and they're telling us that they intend to meet tomorrow, and then they would issue a statement regarding all that has been going on. You're watching Joy News Prime. We're going to be taking a break at this point. We have business news coming up after the break. Please stay tuned. All right, it's time for Business on Joy News Prime, and Emmanuel Wajuyafe, as I promised, is here, 33 minutes.
Yes,
after
so
7
you're stealing
o'clock.
my time.
Well, a bit of your time.
Yes.
Okay, so apparently, fuel prices have gone up.
Have gone up.
Unusually higher than...
Yes, unusually.
And they're explaining to us that they couldn't have helped it this time.
Well, the normal things that we've always heard, global developments, prices of crude oil on the market, has increased, and stability of the city is quite...
Should we expect more of this? Or?
Yes, we should expect more of this, because today, yes, currently it is still rising. Even though there's a monumental meeting as we speak, Russia, non-OPEC country versus Saudi Arabia, an OPEC member, have decided to meet to try to stabilize the prices, but you could imagine if really it will happen in the shortest possible time. But now,
it's not in their interest to stabilize prices. They would like to see prices go up.
Well, but for strategic reasons, sometimes it is good for them to stabilize it in a way, and then playing politics, geopolitics.
Take it away, Emmanuel.
Thank you very much, Israel. Thank you very much also for joining me on business. Petroleum products have witnessed one of the biggest jumps in prices in recent times. It follows the decision by some oil marketing companies to review their prices at the pumps. There's more in this report.
The adjustment is in line with the 2-week price review of petroleum products The increase has resulted in prices of products going up between 4 to 8%. The jump has been attributed to a pickup in the prices of petroleum products on the world market. Checks by Joy Business show that all the major oil marketing companies like Guel, Total, Shell and Allied have increased their prices. Following these adjustments, a gallon of petrol at a Guel service station, which has gone up by some 4% per litre, should be sold at 16 Ghana cedis 34 pesos, while diesel, which has recorded a 7% increase per litre, should sell at 16 Ghana cedis 29 pesos. At Allied, a gallon of diesel is going for 16 Ghana cedis 15 pesos, while petrol is 16 Ghana cedis 24 pesos. Now, don't expect the over 90 oil marketing companies in the country to increase their products by this margin. This is because of the deregulation policy, which allows each marketing company to set its own price. Some of them may increase their prices by a small margin, while some may not even adjust prices at all. It is, however, not clear for now whether the increase could result in transport fares going up.
Right, you're welcome back to Joy News Prime. And what it's some 92, as you can see on your screen, it's some 92 days to the election, and this platform, Multimedia, is offering you the best platform for all the news, this news as far as the elections are concerned. And we're going to be continuing bringing you all the details right until the elections, the victory or the results are declared and the victor is known. So your election headquarters here, Multimedia, we're bringing you everything. Now moving on to some stories, political stories. The opposition New Patriotic Party, NPP, says it is optimistic of a landslide victory in the upcoming elections in December. Acting National Chairman Freddie Blay told journalists in Kumasi the NPP will win an overwhelming 60% of total votes, so Nana Akufo-Addo will be made president. He says the party is satisfied with the response from the public to its campaign message so far across the country.
We will increase the margin. Doing now? We will increase the margin this time, and that's all I can tell you. I'm not satisfied with the answer. Because there's some.
What percentage are you targeting?
Oh, we definitely in Ashanti region over 90. We will expect it at that. But in Ghana, we will definitely have a landslide. We are not going for 52, 53, as some people are saying. We are aiming at over 60. And as I said, it's a one-touch landslide victory for us. And I can assure you, look, wait, a few minutes from hence, the presidential candidate will join us here. And he's going around all over northern regions. I can assure you, maybe after this, you could talk to him. I've been there. I was also there a couple of days now with him in Tamale. I wish you were there. What I'm saying is that this country is fed up with the NDC, is fed up by the incompetent government, is fed up with a government that is corrupt, is fed up with a government that is not performing. There is a need for change. Come 7 December.
The NPP's campaign manager Peter McMenu says all the party is asking of the media is fairness and professionalism in reportage.
You have a role to play. The media has a critical role to play in the elections. That's why for the first time in the CI94, you are being assigned special voting status to enable you go and vote early and to be able to monitor what's going on in the elections. Because the reforms are made, but implementation is different from the reforms itself. And as media men, I will urge you to equip yourself with the reforms so that you will monitor its implementation on election day. What do you ask me? Why are you saying this? I'm saying this because I recognize the media as the fourth realm of the estate, and you have a critical role to play.
Now, the 2016 presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, Nana Akufo-Addo, meanwhile says President Mahama's tenure of office has been nothing short of a disaster for the country, resulting in unprecedented levels of hardship and suffering amongst Kenyans. The NPP flag bearer was addressing hundreds of residents at Nandom as part of his two-day tour of the Upper West region. He assured residents that his government will ensure that the link road from Hamile to Nandom and further down into the Upper West region is constructed.
And we're going to devote our money. We're going to devote our money to doing the things that are essential for our country. You come into Ghana, and the first road that you drive on when you enter Ghana from Burkina Faso is this road that is going from Hamile to Nandom and then further down south. This is not the way Ghana should be introduced to people from Burkina Faso. This dirt road, we're going to do something about it. Take it from me. We're going to do something about it and organize the money. People should have a better impression of our country than this road. And we're going to find the contractor by a process of competitive bidding. We're not going to go into a room and sit down with one person and say, yes, and no funny, I'm not interested in Cadillacs or Fords or whatever. We want.
Well, the chiefs and people of the Chakale traditional area in the Wa East constituency of the Upper West region have conferred the title Chief of Patience on the 2016 presidential candidate of the NPP, Nana Akufo-Addo. The ceremony took place in the palace of the Bulenga Na on Sunday, when the NPP flag bearer paid a courtesy call on the paramount chief of the Chakale traditional area, Bulenga Na Seidu Nawalonge IV, on the second day of his tour of the region.
The verdict of the 2012 election petition, in which the ruling went not in your favor, but you came out clearly and told every Ghanaian to take heart, and that anybody who loved you and loved the party and loved Ghana should forget about whatever has happened. And Ghana has been peaceful since then. So they are very grateful. They know that you are a person of wisdom and you can effect the change that you have mentioned. So they will also use their minds and their brains and do whatever they think they can do to make you become the next president.
The paramount chief of the Tumu traditional area, Koro Richard Babini Kanton VI, says he approves Nana Akufo-Addo's One District, One Factory and the One Village, One Dam initiatives.
Me and my people endorse those messages because we believe that you can perform and you can carry out those messages. Particularly the One Town, One Factory, I endorse it wholeheartedly. If you consider the entire Upper West, we have a lot. If you go to the agricultural sector, we have maize, we have granules, and all manner of products. And I believe that our district can even have more than 10 factories, raw materials for more than 10 factories in our district. So it is our hope and prayer that when you come to power 7th January next year, you do well to bring about this factory so that my youth, my teeming youth can get employment for themselves instead of running down south for non-existent jobs.
All right, it's time for entertainment, and Miss G is back from the weekend. Well, we are all back from the weekend, and
but I'm back with so much juice, you know.
I know, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So I listened to this interview Manifest had with Mama V on Rhythms A to Z on Saturday. It was quite an interesting interview, and Manifest is a smart guy.
Very, very smart, you know, very, very smart. But you know, he tried, you know, to be as prim pro, as much as he could.
To sound as politically correct as possible.
Yeah, so now that you've spoken about it, yes, Manifest was on Rhythms A to Z with Mama V, and he spoke about, you know, Sarkodie.
There's supposed beef with Sarkodie.
The guy says, look, we have been chilling over, you know, I don't have any issue at all. But you know what, even it's news for a lot of us, is the fact that he agrees that Bossy inspired God MC.
How about your relationship with Sack? What's up with you two?
Nothing has changed.
Like how? You guys were best friends?
No, we were never best friends, and whatever the relationship was before is still the same now.
So, how was the relationship before?
Musical colleagues.
Okay. There was no musical war or rap war or something going on?
Oh, recently?
Yeah.
No, I think there was a bit of a conflict, philosophical differences being shared, you know. So yeah, no, I'm not.
So what we had was
I acknowledge that. I acknowledge things that go on. No, I'm just saying, sort of. I don't feel the same way people do towards these things. Sort of, that is, I don't take a World Cup that something great event has happened. When I feel something, I can express it through music, and then I keep it moving. It's not really a big deal.
So what song in particular did you hear? Because, listen, I'm asking Bossy. Because I heard, for instance,
Bossy.
that you were Bossy.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
A lot was said.
On that show, exactly.
And I'm sure.
You know, and the fact that he says that I know Mama V asked him at a point that, so you weren't fighting for EL. The guy is, you know, on his own.
Yeah. One of the things that was quite revealing. So he's come out with his new album, Nowhere Cool. Now on Nowhere Cool, he says that God MC is not on Nowhere Cool.
Not at all. Not at all. He said he had done the album.
It's so huge.
And that I believe, because I remember that when I had an interaction with J-So, who produced some of the songs, he said the album was almost ready.
He actually said J-So produced a significant number of.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, you know, when this issue between he and Sarkodie came, you know, J-So was on Sarkodie's Bossy.
Yeah.
And so I asked Jay, so you were producing this guy. You come out to say, you know, more like the guy is a hypocrite because he heard the song and went to do God MC. So what about if he says he's not working with you anymore? Jesus said he has a lot to lose than I do. You know, because at that time, even though Manifest wasn't in town, his songs were in J-So's studio.
Yeah.
So he knew that this is work, this is music, we have to do it no matter what. So that's it. You know, boys will always be boys, you know, men and men. Anyway, so let's talk about...
And girls will always be girls.
Okay, let's tell you about what girls do. Anyway, okay, so on the Delay show, Ms. V was interviewed. Now, whilst Delay was interviewing Ms. V, she told her at a certain point that Kaki was around. She asked of her relationship with Kaki. Ms. V said they didn't have any issues. She was very cool with Kaki, and there was nothing, you know, happening between them. They were just colleagues when it comes to music. So she said, okay, Kaki is seated somewhere. I will let you go say hi to her. So you can watch the video now. And this is when Ms. V leaves Delay's interview, or the interview. That's Kaki seated right there. So Ms. V says she didn't see Kaki sitting there.
Okay.
But if you see the way Ms. V is working, it's almost like she's tiptoeing out of the place. Like, I don't want to be noticed.
Are you sure it's not the video that has been effected?
If you see, so I asked Ms. V, do you think that video has been manipulated? She said, no. She said, she didn't see Kaki sitting there. She said, I didn't know she was there. If I knew she was there, I would have said hello to her. So I asked her, Ms. V, you were told on set that Kaki was there. It was just normal to have asked that, where is she seated? Yeah. Let me say hello to her. She says, oh no, I didn't see her anywhere around. Was the video manipulated? I don't think so. So what is the relationship between you and Kaki? She says, well, she doesn't know. She just feels that Kaki doesn't like her because she goes around saying things about her. Yeah.
All right, Gary Al-Smith is here with the sports. Good evening to you, Gary.
Good evening, Israel.
What's coming up in sports?
Well, still fallout from the AFCON qualifiers. Ghana has qualified, but you wouldn't know looking at the headlines.
Well, yeah, because we had qualified way ahead of, you know, the last game.
That's what I'm saying. You wouldn't know looking at the headlines, would you?
Yeah.
seems like we have actually failed to qualify.
Okay, but one other country that I wish would have qualified was Sierra Leone because of Salas.
Celestete. Yeah, they were this close.
Yeah,
this close.
But it's good. I mean, they actually drew the game with
Ivory Coast.
But I'm also told that the Ivorian team, as it is now, is not that strong.
Well, but they have qualified.
Well, yeah.
And there's what? September, October, November, December. That's a long time.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of players they can bring up to standard, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then one other team I'm told is doing wonders is the
Brazil.
Yeah, Brazilian, national team. I'm told they're using the Olympic squad.
Well, so they are blooding a new generation of players using the Olympic squad as a bedrock.
And they won in a certain country. They haven't won. Is it Quito?
Yeah, Ecuador.
Okay.
The capital of
They have not won there
in 33 years, but they won last week.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
You didn't come on Friday. You were absent from class. From this class.
Okay,
we interviewed a South American journalist who gave us all the details.
Oh,
so
okay.
when you asked me, I was wondering, and I just clicked that you weren't here on Friday.
I think I listened to it on radio.
On radio, yes.
All right, you take it away, guys.
All right, thank you, Israel, and thank you for joining us. Hopefully, you are not absent from this class we call the Sports on Prime. Hi, I'm Gary Al Smith, and who are you going to blame if Avram Grant does not win the African Cup of Nations in January? Are you going to blame him, yourself, the sports ministry, the government, or the GFA, or the players? Isaac Madade Boateng, popularly known as Opele, gives his take.
To not win the AFCON 2017, we cannot blame Avram Grant. Why? Because in football, there are a lot of factors that enhance performance, or affect performance. So if we will not give the players that enabling environment, the atmosphere will not be serene for them to perform, we cannot blame Avram Grant. Because you cannot allow players to buy their own tickets, come down to Ghana and play football. You cannot tell footballers, look, we want the local players to play. You have come in, and so we are not going to give you the $8,000 that we used to give you. It's not fair. The reason is that if I go on the technical level, the players that came in or that played last time, like Edwin Jima, Akam, and the rest, they've always been on the bench. This time the coach used them for him to assess them. So we could not just tell the coach, use local boys. To me, it wasn't fair. So if we do not perform at AFCON 2017, we cannot blame Avram Grant.
For more news, actually, that's it for the bulletin. But for more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. And the one interesting feature we have on the page is the countdown. So we are at 92 days, 3 hours and 45, 44, 43. All right, so apparently there's an error here. But there's a countdown, and you can visit My Joy Online. We're going to be, for the stories that we have there, and a whole lot more. That's it for the bulletin. My name is Israel. You have a good night, and let's meet same time tomorrow.
This is Joy News Prime.